welcome to Elements Weekly. My name is Jasmine Mager, and I would like to introduce this week's element, bromine, also known as Br.
Thank you, Miss Mager, for having me here today.
Bromine is one of the 109 elements that makes up the periodic element chart. Bromine, before we begin this interview, I would like to point out that you are element number 35 on the periodic table.
That is correct. I am between selenium and krypton on the periodic table of elements.
Who discovered you and where?
Well, I had been around for millions of years, but I was discovered by two different chemists independently named Antoine Ballard and Carl Jacob Loeg between 1825 and 1826. Antoine Ballard, a French chemist, found bromide ashes in the seaweed he was studying to produce iodine. Carl Jacob Loeg, a German chemist, discovered me while mixing mineral salts and chlorine gas. I was named bromine by another French chemist named Joseph Louis Gay Lussac. The word bromine is derived from the Greek word bromos, which means bad smell.
Interesting. I would like to describe your characteristics to our audience. You are a deep reddish-brown, thick liquid with metallic shine. I'm beginning to smell a strong odor, almost like chlorine that is used in swimming pools, or like bleach. In fact, I'm beginning to feel a little dizzy.
Yes, I have a strong vaporous gas odor that can be very irritating to your mucous membranes. We should probably move this interview to an area that has more fresh air.
We are back, and once again, I would like to thank you, Bromine, for allowing me to interview you today.
You are welcome. I'm really sorry about the toxic odors. Just a reminder that I am a very dangerous element and need to always be handled with special care.
If you are so dangerous, how are you transported?
I am typically transported in special steel-lined tanks that have metal frames.
How are you used?
I have many different uses. Most commonly, I am used in swimming pools and water purification methods like chlorine. I am also used as fire retardant for plastics, in the manufacture of ethylene dibromide, which acts as an anti-knocking gasoline. Clothing manufacturers use me as an anti-shrinking compound for wool material and dyes.
Is there anything else that you might be used for?
I'm used in some solvents, and I have some pharmaceutical uses as well. I get used in photography as an organic bromide. I have uses in pesticides, so I get rid of lots of bugs. I'm also used as a flame-proofing agent. And I have some fumigants too. As you can see, I have many different uses.
That's a lot of uses. Besides being used in the items you talked about, where exactly can you be found?
I do not occur naturally in the form of bromine. I exist as bromide salts in seawater. I am especially rich in the Dead Sea and some bromide-rich brine wells. Israel and the United States are my primary producers. But basically, anywhere there is seawater or salt lakes, I can be produced.
Wow! And I noticed that right now you are in a liquid form. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that is what makes me so special. I am one of just a handful of elements that remain in a liquid form at room temperature. However, if I am exposed to air, I will evaporate quickly and turn into a cloud of red and purplish gas.
What element series do you belong to?
I belong to a series of elements called halogens. This basically means I belong to a group of elements that can produce salt along with a metal. Most halogens are soluble in water. Chlorine and bromine both form a mixture of acids in water.
The environment is such an important issue. I'd like to discuss how you impact it. Is it true that scientists have found that you may have a hand in depleting the ozone?
Well, unfortunately, this is true. The sunlight draws chlorine monoxide and bromine monoxide to the ozone. This process occurs while a polar vortex or strong circumcircular winds are still moving, which creates a significant decrease in our ozone.
So this might result in you possibly being phased out of production?
Yes, in fact, the government has already restricted the manufacturing of me.
I can certainly understand the reasoning. We are almost out of time, but before you go, do you want to add any facts about yourself?
Sure. Well, my atomic weight is 79.90 and my density is 3.12 grams per cubic meter.
What are your melting and boiling points?
My melting point is 266 degrees and my boiling point is 332 degrees.
Thank you so much, Bromine, for being on Elements Weekly. Join us next week.